Imagine your company's AI isn't just one single brain, but like an entire boardroom of highly specialized experts.
Right.
And you are definitely not alone in wanting this because Gartner just reported a staggering 1,445% surge in enterprise inquiries from multi-agent systems.
Yeah, and that number, I mean, it's massive, right? But it makes total sense. AI is finally moving away from those experimental, do everything chatbots and evolving into these mission-critical multi-agent orchestrations.
Exactly. And that is exactly what we are doing a deep dive into today. We're looking at a really fascinating piece of research from AetherLink.
The Dutch AI consulting firm, right?
Right. They just mapped out enterprise AI governance for 2026. And their perspective is super useful for you right now because they operate right in the crosshairs of the EU AI Act and GDPR.
Which is not an easy place to be.
No, definitely not. But they break this whole technological shift down across their 3 product lines. So there's Aether Mind for the high-level strategy, Aether Bot for the actual AI agents, and AetherDV for deployment.
And our mission today is really to unpack the mechanics of this research, right? To help you understand what this shift means for your own enterprise architecture.
Spot on. So let's start with the root of the problem that AetherLink points out, the structural failure of monolithic AI.
Yeah, because for the last couple of years, enterprise IT has basically treated the large language model as like a universal Swiss Army knife.
Yes, you just throw a massive, highly complex prompt into a single context window, and, well, you just hope the neural network can simultaneously analyze a risk profile, draft a customer response, and, format the output as a perfect JSON file.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, works totally fine for a weekend prototype.
Right, but it breaks spectacularly in production.
Exactly.
Because when you force a single model to handle multiple distinct cognitive tasks all at once, you get this attention delusion.
Yeah, the model literally struggles physically to weigh the parameters of strict legal compliance against, say, the parameters of natural language generation.
It makes me think of a traditional restaurant kitchen. The monolithic approach is like hiring one incredibly talented but highly stressed chef to cook every single appetizer, main course, and dessert for a packed dining room.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, the cognitive load is just way too high. They're going to hallucinate a recipe or burn the soup.
Yeah, but with a multi-agent orchestration setup, it's like a professional kitchen brigade. You have an orchestrator, the head chef.
The one running the path.
Exactly. The orchestrator evaluates the incoming user request, breaks it down into discrete subtasks, and routes those to the specialists.
So like a grill cook, a pastry chef.
Yeah.
But in this case, a risk assessment agent, a data retrieval agent.
Right. And then the orchestrator synthesizes their work before it goes out to the customer. And the business value here is wild. The McKinsey 2025 AI capability research that AetherLink cited shows multi-agent systems boast 34% faster task completion.
Wow, 34%?
Yeah. But more importantly, a 47% improvement in output consistency.
And for regulated European industries banking, healthcare, that consistency isn't just a nice to have.
No, it's a direct reduction in compliance risk.
Yeah.
You isolate the cognitive burden, so the agent isn't distracted trying to be chatty. It just focuses on the math.
Okay, so I completely understand the value of having this team of specialists, but logically, as a CTO, you have to ask, if we have all these specialized agents, how do they actually talk to our company's messy existing databases?
The integration nightmare.
Right, because previously that required millions of euros in custom coding.
Yeah, the old custom integration tax. Historically, early AI required these brittle, incredibly expensive custom-built bridges for every single API connection.
Which was just technical debt waiting to happen.
Exactly. But this is where the research points to a massive solution protocol standardization, specifically MCP and A2A.
Let's break those down, because MCP, the Model Context Protocol, is huge.
It really is. It was originally backed by tech giants, and it's basically a universal language. MCP connects the agents to your tools and your data.
Right. And then you have Google's agent-to-agent protocol, or A2A.
Yeah, and the distinction is important. MCP is for talking to databases, while A2A allows peer-to-peer communication between the agents themselves.
So they can just talk to each other without needing to go back through the main hub every single time.
Exactly.
And looking at the AetherLink context, specifically AetherDV, their development arm, they noted that for their clients, using these standardized MCP servers collapses development time from weeks down to mere days.
Which is just a totally different paradigm for IT.
Right. And as of Q2 2025, there are over 200 MCP servers publicly available. They said 73% of Fortune 500 companies evaluating these systems cite this exact standardization as a critical deciding factor.
Because it just works. It's plug and play.
And let me play devil's advocate here for the listener.
Yeah.
Hold on. If we have all these autonomous agents connecting to our core banking systems and HR databases through these standardized ports,
I know where you're going with this.
doesn't that create just a massive GDPR and security nightmare? You've got bots running everywhere in your sensitive data.
I know, it sounds terrifying at first, but this is actually the most counterintuitive and fascinating part of the AetherLink research.
Really? How so?
Because the multi-agent architecture doesn't break compliance, it is actually the foundation for achieving it.
Wait, explain that. How does having more bots make it safer?
Because of how it inherently solves the EU AI Act's toughest demands, in a monolithic system, you bolt compliance on at the end. But with multi-agent architecture, you get natural explainability.
Because each agent explains its own specific subtask.
Exactly. And you get natural human oversight. The orchestrator can flag any low-confidence task and kick it to a human. Plus, you get perfect audit trails because every single handoff is logged.
Oh, and data governance.
Yeah.
Because the specialized agents only access specific data.
Right. The risk agent only sees numbers, not the customer's name. It's built in isolation.
That makes total sense. And the article actually gave a prime example of this, that Amsterdam fintech case study.
Oh, yeah, the payment services company.
Yes. They moved from a monolithic system
Yeah.
to this specialized agent setup. They had a risk assessment agent, a customer verification agent, sanctions screening, and audit agent all separated.
And the metrics were just incredible to see.
They really were. Their transaction verification dropped from 18 minutes down to just 3 minutes.
And the false positives plummeted by 58%.
Right, because the specialized agents actually know what they're looking at, instead of a generalist model just panicking at everything.
Exactly. But the most important metric for the auditors, their audit trail completeness hit 100%.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and their regulatory audit time dropped by 40% because of it. The regulators could just look at the logs and see exactly why a decision was made.
So, to give you some actionable advice, if you're listening and you want to implement this, let's talk timelines. Because the expert advice in the article lays this out pretty clearly.
Yeah, the implementation realities are important. A basic MCP implementation, just getting the connections running, takes about 4 to 8 weeks.
Which is fast.
Very fast. But a full enterprise rollout takes about 4 to 6 months. And that really depends on your organizational complexity.
Like whether you choose a centralized, distributed, or hybrid MCP hub.
Right. Centralized gives you total control, but can be a bottleneck. Distributed lets teams move fast, but risks, configuration drift.
So most end up going hybrid.
Exactly. Hybrid is where you want to be for enterprise scale.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today. Let's get to our takeaways. What is your absolute #1 takeaway from all this research?
For me, it's the mindset shift regarding regulation.
Oh, yeah. Say more about that.
Well, for so long, governance was just seen as an overhead burden, right?
Yeah.
A tax on innovation. But when you build it into the architecture from day one, like with these multi-agent systems, it actually becomes a distinct competitive advantage.
That is such a good point. It stops being a roadblock.
Exactly.
For me, my biggest takeaway is just the sheer speed of protocol standardization. The fact that the custom integration tax is basically dead.
Yeah, it changes everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
It means companies can finally build scalable AI without crippling themselves with technical debt. It's huge.
It is. And, it leaves us with a really provocative question to think about.
Oh, lay it on us.
Well, if our enterprise AI systems are now designed as these highly transparent, auditable teams of specialists,
Right.
how is that going to force us to change the way our human teams are structured and manage to oversee them?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a completely different paradigm for management.
Exactly. It's something every leader is going to have to figure out.
That's a great thought to end on. Well, that is all we have time for on this deep dive. For more AI insights, visit aetherlink.ai.